Live from Lagos, this is Lunchtime Politics, reaching you live from the global headquarters here. And I'm Jeffrey Uzama. Let's bring you some of the big stories we're tracking at this very moment. Federal government arraigned some leaders and organizers of the End Bad Governance protest at the Federal High Court on 6-count charge bordering on allegations of treason and intent to destabilize Nigeria. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited tactically admits to facing financial constraints due to petrol subsidy or petrol supply costs, which poses threat to the stability or sustainability of fuel supply. And senior advocate of Nigerian rights activists says there should be investigation on what he termed fuel importation scam owing to a continuous scarcity of product despite being an oil-producing country. Thanks again for joining us on the program. It's the second day in the month of September, so let's get things started. Our first port of call is the court, where the federal government has arraigned some leaders and organizers of the End Bad Governance protest, which held in the country from August the 1st to the 10th, 2024, for alleged treason, inciting to mutiny, and intent to stabilize Nigeria. The 10 persons who were arraigned before Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court include Mr. Michael Adaramoye, also known as Lenin Adeyemi Abayomi, Suleiman Yakubu Okpalo, Simon, and Angel Innocent. Others are Buhari Lawal, Musiu Sadiq, Bashir Bello, Noruddin Kamis, and Abdul Salam Zubairo. The defendants, who all pleaded not guilty, were arraigned on a 6-count charge of treason, alleged treason, intent to destabilize Nigeria, conspiracy to commit felony, and inciting to mutiny, which is an offense punishable under Section 97 of the Penal Code. The defendants are equally accused of levying war against the state in order to intimidate the president by attacking and injuring police officers and burning police stations. High Court Complex, NCC Complex, Kano Printing Press, Government House, Kano, and several other buildings. Court has now fixed September the 10th for trial, ruling on the bail application by these protesters. So we're following that particular development as far as the End Bad Governance protest is concerned. Let's also tell you that arraignment is already getting reaction from the human rights group Amnesty International, who described the planned mass trial of the hundreds of protesters arrested during the nationwide End Bad Governance protest between August the 1st to the 10th as a mockery of the rule of law. A statement by the Amnesty director, Issa Sanusi, says the group is deeply concerned that the End Bad Governance protesters are being arraigned nationwide today are only going to be subjected to another round of government unrelenting intent to punish protesters and demonize protest. The statement reads in part, the Nigerian government has been wrongfully placing priority on punishing protesters without saying even a word on the urgent need to investigate the killing of dozens of protesters across Kano, Kaduna, Suleja, Tafa, Jigawa, and Maiduguri. Many protesters were subjected to horrific violations by security personnel, including excessive use of force and misuse of tear gas. Amnesty International is also calling on the Nigerian authorities to immediately and unconditionally release all those arrested during the protest for exercising their right to peaceful assembly. Well, let's move on to somewhat of a tactical admission by the financial constraint by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, due to supply cost of PMS, popularly known as petrol. A statement by the company's chief corporate communication officer, Olufemi Sonoye, says the financial strain has placed considerable pressure on the company and poses a threat to the sustainability of fuel supply. However, says that in line with the extant sector regulatory law, the state-owned company remains dedicated to its role as a supplier of the last resort, ensuring national energy security. This comes after the chief financial officer of the company, Alhaji Umar Ajia, recently told journalists that the NNPCL only handles PMS importation shortfalls between the government and the company, denying payment of subsidy to petroleum marketers. How this development will impact supply going forward, and the long queues being witnessed across the country remains to be seen. Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Femi Falana, is perhaps unpleased with the tone of the statement that I just read by the NNPCL, assuring Nigerians of availability of petroleum products. Mr. Falana, however, charges civil society organization and other trade union groups to challenge government over the hardship faced by the citizens. He spoke on our program, Politics Today.
The NNPCL is coming out rather belligerently, assuring Nigerians that there will be regular supply of PMS. But in that statement, it's extremely loaded. Then NNPCL is also talking about affordability, sustainability, and the rest of them. If you consider that statement, along with the official pronouncement of the Minister of State in the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, who had said during the war that the country can no longer afford to sustain 600 naira per liter of fuel. Well, I think Nigerians should be prepared to challenge the NNPCL to come out boldly and let Nigerians know what the situation is. But I've also thrown the challenge to Nigeria to be prepared to join the issues with the government. At every stage, no more than state can justify inflicting punishment of the people because of the criminal activities of smugglers. No. So Nigerians must reject any arguments, any reason adduced by the government that simply expose us to ridicule. Furthermore, all the agents of change in our society, trade unions, the progressive extraction of the civil society, must be prepared to join the issues with the government. Because this fraud has gone on for too long.
Well, the NNPCL, the oil sector, and all of that has been at the front burner since this whole issue of scarcity. But we're going to make it a two-pronged conversation with my guest. First, we're going to have his take on the development as far as this issue of scarcity is concerned, and then we'll get to core politics, which has to do with the PDP and the aftermath of their congresses. Especially our focus will be on River State and what played out, given the statement by the FCT minister saying he's going to set some states on fire if they try to tamper with the PDP structure in River State. Politically, he's going to cause some instability for them. And he was referring to some states that are trying to, in his understanding, take structure from him and hand it over to the governor. We've been joined on the program by Mr. Jide Ojo. He's a political analyst. He joins us via Zoom. Mr. Ojo, thank you so much for coming on the program.
It's my pleasure, Geoffrey. Happy New Week. Happy New Month.
Same to you. Okay, just before we get into that very first conversation, your take on this issue of scarcity. We understand about 10 people have been kidnapped along the Bonny-Port Harcourt waterway this morning. Bonny-Port Harcourt waterway this morning, 10 people kidnapped. That's coming from our correspondent, Charles Oporum from Port Harcourt. Let me start on this note, Mr. Ojo. There has been a lot of back and forth with this issue of the NNPCL, the issue of PMS, the issue of the refinery. Sometimes it's a very convoluted and complicated issue. Some are calling for the head of Mr. Mele Kyari, the ministers themselves, the regulatory authorities, their heads as well. Some are saying that may not solve the problem. It's a systemic problem. What's your take?
Well, my take is that I think we need to have a critical mass that would demand, as a matter of rights, for transparency and accountability in that sector. There is a lot of opacity that we cannot just continue to be lied to, and they want us to believe them. Look at the issue around, Port Harcourt refinery will start to produce at the very latest by August. That was the last commitment made by Mele Kyari. We just entered September, and Port Harcourt refinery this turnaround maintenance has yet to be completed 3 years after. What we were told would take only 18 months, with $1.5 billion spent or borrowed to fund this turnaround maintenance. Then we do not know what is actually the state of play in terms of Dangote refinery. Somebody within that sector said Dangote refinery is not fully completed. That's Ahmed Farouk said it's not, I think I read something like it's 45% completed. And then we had that, don't worry, appropriate pricing for supply of PMS to Dangote will start by September. We are now in September. And then we are getting to hear that NNPCL is owing $6 billion. And you ask yourself, how come? From where to where? Is it that this whole case of under recovery or subsidy? I mean, we just need more information. And I think we can no longer have this being treated with kid gloves, because successive administration has pulled a wool over our face and gotten away with it. For 8 years, Muhammadu Buhari was Minister of Petroleum Resources. We never had a solution to this problem. Now, Tinubu is the substantive Minister of Petroleum Resources with 2 Ministers of State, one for oil and one for gas. And we see them talking at cross purposes. Minister will say one thing, the GMD of NNPCL will say another thing, the one in midstream will say one thing. I mean, I'm just so tired of, I don't know what to believe, because we cannot just continue to live with this old story of, don't worry, it's just a minor destruction. Don't worry, you soon have steady supply. CNG is the game changer. CNG will come on stream very shortly. I mean, whether we even want to go through that energy transition from PMS or diesel or another petroleum products to the gas, which the president in his August 4th nationwide broadcast talked to us as being the game changer. Even if we are going to go CNG, not one CNG bus is on the streets of any part of this country. They made a show of having 20 CNG compliant buses at one of the AFEC meetings 3 weeks ago. But that was just like window dressing for Nigeria. So, Geoffrey, truth be told, we just need concrete cold facts about what the true state of play is in our oil and gas sector.
Okay, well, those are the questions that the NNPCL themselves will answer. I know that they had shifted that August to September. Dangote as well has shifted. And now soon 1 or 2 CNG compliant buses, I think in Lagos. But whether it's hit critical mass for it to be able to effect any change and move the needle is another kettle of fish. But there's a lot with the NNPCL that needs explanation. Some of us understand it. Some people don't understand it. Some things are clear. Some things are not clear. But let's move to politics, which is why I brought you in, Mr. Ojo, on this one. Given what is playing out in Rivers State, the PDP Congress held on Saturday, and yes, on weekend, the FCT minister made some statement that I want you to react to, and I will get follow-up questions based on what you respond. Let's take a listen to him.
I assured you, yes, we have done our own part by electing a government in the state. If the government says it does not want us, will you kill yourself? Will you run away from the party you built? We are the party members, and we have taken over our party. And let me assure all of you, not while we live, anybody will take away the structure of PDP from us. Not while we live. And let me tell people, I hear that there are some governors, who say they will take away the structure and give back to somebody. I pity those governors because I'll put fire in their state.
Mr. Ojo, I would like your response.
It's very tragic. The situation is very calamitous that we have to be having this kind of very weighty words that will put fire in another state, will make certain states ungovernable. I know you qualified it for those governors who want to continue to sponsor destabilize Rivers State. But even at that, as an elder statesman that I consider FCT Minister Nyesom Wike to be, he needs to moderate his rhetorics. This just doesn't add up. It's an internal politics. Politics is about disagreement. It's about, conflict and conflict resolution. To say that you are going to put fire in another state because you feel or you heard, and you may have heard wrongly. In politics, there is a lot of what I consider to be all this whispering, hush talk. Some may not actually be true. If he had anything from any quarter, he has access to those personalities. Why didn't he call or visit them to say, this is what I had, is it true or is it false? Rather than to engage in this kind of rhetorics on the national television. We want peace, and when situations like this, in the name of politics and power, when we allow power to just be the primary focus of our existence, I don't think that is good enough. He is entitled to his opinion and not quarreling with his view, but he needs to moderate his rhetoric. As somebody who has seen it all in politics, he has gone through the system from local government chairperson to becoming a minister of state, to becoming chief of staff, to a governor, to being 8-year governor of a oil state like Rivers itself. And now he's a substantive minister of FCT. So people like that, people look up to you for advice. And I don't think it should be this idea of fire for fire. We never had those he may be alluding to. We never had them saying, oh, we will do this. So reacting to those rumors, because he himself said he may have heard wrongly. Somebody may have whispered something that never was true to him. And for him to come on national TV to come and react in this very undiplomatic manner, I don't think it's helpful to his image as a person and to the country that is going through a very tense situation like we are.
All right, Mr. Ojo, we're going to take a break. When we come back, there are two sides to this conversation I would like us to take on before we wrap up. Let's take this break. We'll be right back. Join us again. Welcome back. Mr. Ajide Ojo is my guest. He's a public affairs analyst. He joins us via Zoom from Abuja. Mr. Ojo, the first part of the two parts I talked about is how the public is now perceiving the PDP. What do you think is going on with the People's Democratic Party when you see these kind of things happening? Because Just a few days ago, the BOT had visited Governor Sim Fubara, giving him assurances, saying they were afraid he was leaving. He said he's not leaving, that now he knows he has them. But from what we see from that primaries, he was nowhere to, not primaries, the Congress, he was nowhere to be found. He's been outplayed in that game. And there are speculations he may be going to the APP. Those are the rumors we're hearing. So what do you think this mix of the PDP? How do you think people are perceiving the PDP? Weak, not bold enough to address their own issues, that people are now looking like they are more powerful than the party, like what people see in Nyesom Wike to be?
Exactly. I agree with that school of thought that the PDP has been in disarray since after the 2023 election. Of course, we know since 2015, PDP has lost him. And Geoffrey, to interest you as a student of politics, there are two broad categories of places that we use as allegory when you are describing politics. Is those who are in Saudi Arabia and those who are in Siberia. Those who are in Saudi Arabia are those who enjoy the perks of office, who are having good time, who are in power and authority. And those who are in Siberia are those who are in the lodge, who are having the short end of the stick. And since PDP lost power in 2015, things are falling apart and the center has not been able to hold. And we saw that from 2019 to 2023, and they are yet to wriggle out of that. No thanks to the fact that they also failed to honor their own constitution. And this lack of internal party democracy has robbed PDP of vibrancy, so much so that it's losing massive support of its members. Members of PDP are living in droves. And I will not be surprised. Look at the issue with Rivers State. Rather than mediating a Rivers crisis, which has been on since October last year, it's about a year that this crisis has been on. When is the BOT just waking up to give Governor Sim Fubara a shoulder, or visiting him to give him support? And it's also a good comfort when you say you are with him. But you know full well in politics, if every politics is local, if you are not very much in control of the local state of play in politics, you are just nowhere. And there are people who call Abuja politicians. And Nyesom Wike has proven that, yes, he may be an Abuja politician, but he still has his foot firmly on ground in Rivers State. And for this reason, Nyesom Wike, pardon my use of this word, has become like a bull in a china shop. They don't know what to do with it. He cannot be pushed out because he has gone to court to get an injunction that he should not be, is it sacked, or he should not be expelled from the party. And he's also openly romancing with opposition, serving in the opposition government without even the support of the opposition party to which he belongs. So I think they need to find a more creative way to cut a personality like Nyesom Wike. He has said that he's fighting against injustice that was meted to him and to some members of the PDP by not zoning the presidency to the South in 2023. But whether that can be atoned for, I don't know what kind of atonement can be made. That will make
there are layers to it. He had, my apologies because of time, he had mentioned the fact that, look, we brought this gentleman into the party, we've been kicked out. We won't run away. On the other hand, it looks like there is a fair share of anti-party activity that's spread across the top echelon of the party, so it's like they're a bit unsure what to do with it. But let's go back to Mr. Fubara. In just a moment, I would like you to, what is left to the governor of Rivers, Siminalayi Fubara, On one hand, Mr. Wike has taken over the structure of the party. On the other hand, he can't go to APC because Wike also has his foot there, as well as other things. He has some people that are loyal to him. What options is left for him? Because this is all 2027 in sight. 30
How
seconds.
are you so sure he cannot go to APC? Why would you say he cannot go to APC? If he places, if he's smart enough, APC is actually where he should be headed. Because why am I saying this? See, obviously, I don't know whether there is any deal between the president and Nyesom Wike beyond the fact that support my presidential ambition. But Wike cannot dictate to President Tinubu that don't absorb or don't allow Sim Fubara to come to your party. And they being the party at the center, they can give him some form of protection. Look at the smart move that was made by Shuaibu in Edo State. When he knew he was falling out of favor with Obaseki, where did he go to? He returned to APC, and he knows he has that cover. So if Sim Fubara goes to APP, what value beyond the fact that he may use he may be able to fund the party, but he may not be able to raise a formidable structure that will be able to be a counterbalance to that of Nyesom Wike in PDP.
All right, Mr. Ajide Ojo, thank you as always for coming through on this particular issue. It's a developing issue, and we'll continue to look there and get details as to how things will evolve. Ajide Ojo is a public affairs analyst and a political analyst. Thank you, sir, for coming on the program.
My pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your week. Keep safe.
Absolutely. You as well. So just before we go, we understand that the 10 persons that were kidnapped today along Bonny Port Harcourt waterway are maritime travelers. They say they are, that's confirming the incident via telephone. The district chairman of Maritime Workers Union of Rivers State, Israel Waribo Purple, says it's not a rumor, it's real. 10 persons have been kidnapped this morning coming from Bonny to Port Harcourt. Well, those will continue to follow that particular story as well, the latest kidnap in Rivers State on the waterways. Thank you for your time and company. I'm Jeff Ruzonga. You've been served on Lunchtime Politics.